Hello, friends. How are you today? Well, today I want to tell you a story, and it is an amazing story of a miracle that happened. And I'm basically lucky to be alive, and it's an incredible story of listening to divine guidance and things just falling into place in an amazing way. And I'm like, it makes me so happy and hopeful and inspired. So I wanted to share it with you. So what happened is I'll give you the thumbnail and then I'll tell you the story. And then I want to tell you, how did I receive the guidance that avoided the situation? And then how did I assess it? Like, how did I know to follow it? That's what I want to share with you, because we all receive these things, and it's easy to say, oh no, really I should do this. Or so I want to go over that with you too, so that you can have the information and to just reinforce and inspire you in this area of life. So the thumbnail story is that I'm in a building and where I live, and the unit below me is empty and it flooded with gas. Okay. And everything was fine. And it's so amazing that everything was fine. And so I'll tell you what happened, okay? There was construction, and there's one of the things that made it more intense is that but maybe also better, is that there are openings in the walls and in the ceiling downstairs. And so that probably allowed the smell of the gas to come up to my unit more than it otherwise might have. Okay. And so after there were contractors downstairs, and after they left, okay, about 4 or 5 hours later, I thought I smelled something funny, but I wasn't sure that it was gas. And I just left my front door open to air the place out for a little bit, okay? But then later at 10:30 at night, someone came home and said, I smell gas. Now, weird things were already happening that night. And so because of that, I had already checked the astrology. And the weird things are the guidance, like what I was guided to do. I can't wait to tell you. And so I had already checked the astrology, and I knew that the moon and Uranus were together. And I had taken a walk, like how I like to look at the stars. And so I had seen the moon was at Uranus, okay? And so on my walk, I saw that. So basically what happened was I immediately picked up the phone and called the gas company here, which is PG&E, and the gas company came out within 20 minutes. And for sure, there was, measurable gas at my location. But when he got into downstairs, it was just like, the machine was just going off. And I followed him down there just because I'm nosy, I guess. And I was standing outside, the unit with the door open, and I was 4 feet outside, and just this whiff of gas came at me, which I know is dangerous. Okay, so, but it was incredible. Okay, and of course, he shut the gas off right away, and the unit was able to air out. So what happened is that, here's the first thing. The window to that unit was left open. So the gas wasn't able to build up as much as it normally would have. That's the first thing. Okay. And the second thing is that because there were holes in the wall or the ceiling in that unit, because it's under construction, I guess I was able to smell it sooner. In other words, it wasn't all boxed up in there where no one could notice. Thank you, God, right? So I know it's just like gratitude after gratitude here. It was okay. Now here's the guidance. So here's the guidance. Because when I knew to call the gas company right away, it partly was intellectual because I knew that the moon was at Uranus, and Uranus can be like sudden events that happen, good or bad. So I knew, like, I'm calling just, to be on the safe side, right? And then I had someone definitively saying, I smell it. Okay, so here was what happened. Number one, a few days ago, I had a craving for salad. I am not a vegetable person. I like eating meat. Okay, that's just what I am, and my body does better on that. But I bought all these vegetables for salad, and meaning that I don't have to use the oven, I don't have to use the stove, right? So these vegetables have been in for like 4 days. Now, you know how it is. Like, you buy vegetables and then 2 weeks later you're like, I didn't eat the vegetables and they're not good or whatever. But during that 3 to 4 day period, I was sitting here saying to myself, why did I buy this? Because I'm not eating it. Like, I go on, guidance and impulse all the time. So my body and my guidance wasn't saying have salad that day, That day, the day the gas was building up, I just, in the middle of the day, was like, you know what? I'm having the salad tonight. This is going to be great. Finally, I'm going to have the salad. So, in other words, I didn't have to turn the gas on, and I didn't have to turn the oven on. And it turned out the gas was in the wall behind the oven. So, isn't that incredible? Okay, that's number one. Number two, I know the timing because the State of the Union address was on, and I sat down to dinner and I happened to catch it. I happened to be like, oh, that's on. And so I know that I left the house after that, which was at about 8 p.m. my time, okay? So not only did I not turn the stove on, right, because now the gas has been building up for several hours, but I left the house. Isn't that incredible? I left, and I took my dog with me, and we went for the walk, and I saw that the moon was at Uranus, and but I had this feeling I need to move my car. And you know how it is when you have to move your car, you're like, oh, I could do it later, I could do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll just inconvenience the other person and not move it, that I need to move the car for. But I just was like, no, I'm moving the car. And I got in the car, and the low battery light came on. And here's the thing. The low battery light has been on, like it had been on a few weeks ago. So I have taken my car on long drives. The battery should be fully recharged. But yet the last 3 times I had been in it, it said low battery. And I was like, what is going on with that? Now, I believe angels can affect technology, just so you know. Because I'm pretty sure I've gotten a new battery at some point recently. Anyway, I'll have to check that, but that's what I think. So I was looking at that, and I had this feeling. It's not really a feeling, it's an impulse. I like to say that for me, how I receive guidance, and I've talked to many other people that have confirmed that this is the case for them, okay? It's like an impulse. It's not a thought. It's not a feeling. It's like an expression of energy through the body. And it's usually, like in the center of my body, like near the heart. It's like this impulse that has this higher energy feeling. Like, like if you pray, when you're connected with, God in prayer, and it's like a different energy. Or when you meditate and you're in that truly centered state, and it's a different energy. Or when you're doing energy work and you achieve a state of, like, I call it 5D, right? A 0 point, 1-to-1 with your soul, with the divinity that you are. So that's what it was like. That's what it was like. So I was backing out, and I was like, screw it. I'm not taking this car at this point, it was probably like 9 p.m. I'm not taking this car on a drive. Like, it's ridiculous. I never drive on the freeway, like, late at night unless there's, like, a reason. So I usually don't do that. But here is where I want to share. So you allow the mind to work the process. You don't think. like rationally think out the reasoning. You allow the mind to control not control necessarily because the spirit is in control, but in the soul that I am, right? That part of I am in control that way. But I allow the mind to help me with the process, not think through the pros and cons. Okay, that's where we get off track, in my view. And I know that's probably like stunning. I allowed the mind to go through, my mind go through assessing, wait, let's review the guidance I just got. The quality of energy was that quality. When I ignore that, it's always something I wish I had done. And I don't know why. I'm supposed to drive on the freeway tonight to nowhere to charge the battery, but this is what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. And so I was out driving for like an hour on the freeway, charging the battery. Okay, so I got home 20 or 30 minutes before the person who, came home. I'm pretty private, so I'm just going to say the person who came home and said there's gas. And so during that 20, 30 minutes, like I'm not turning on all the lights. It's nighttime, right? I'm not, necessarily turning on the stove or cooking anything. And the thing is, I think I might have made coffee. So I did use the stove for like 3 minutes. So thank God that was fine. But what I'm saying is I was outside the house for most of the danger period. And then before I made this video, I had brought my dog with me. So we were safe. Okay. And also, I just had it. I'm just going to experience gratitude here. Like, this is like a happy, awesome story, because the feeling that that God has my back. But when I say God, like, I'm talking to Archangel Michael, I'm talking to Jesus, they're my go-to guys. And I'm talking to the Divine Mother. She's my go-to girl. Okay. I'm talking to my soul. Like, it's like I'm surrounded, how it is when you do this, when you are a spiritual person or a prayerful person or a meditative person, or an energy worker, you're surrounded. I can feel them around me. And, even the trees. And okay, it was amazing. Here's the other thing. This was incredible. When I was younger, I had a fear of spiders. And now I moved up over the years where now I appreciate them. So when I see them, I always try to save them. Okay, that's the thing. But also, spiders are like the nature spirits for writing, and I'm a writer. And spiders are the nature spirits for interdimensional energy because their webs are interdimensional. So I learned to love and appreciate what I once was just only afraid of, okay? But while I was driving on the freeway, I was having these incredible fears of spiders. Okay, it was the craziest thing because it made no rational sense, and these thoughts kept coming at me. So as I was driving, I'm recentering and I'm using my mind for the process, okay, to work the process. So this is the technique. I'm using my mind to say, it doesn't make any sense that all these thoughts are coming at me. It feels like it's coming not from inside me, right? It's some kind of energy. I don't know what it is, but the thoughts are coming. And so I'm continually working to clear my field, put it outside the field, give it to God, all the techniques that I use, violet flame to transmute the energy. And so my intention is I'm driving on the freeway. I want to be safe. So I'm staying centered. I'm paying attention to the road. I'm letting my mind work that process so everything is good, right, with that. And also using my mind to stay centered, stay focused, but I'm aware that there are all these weird fears. So when I got home, and then 20 minutes later, someone came home, do you know what they found? on the wall the gas was on. It turned out later that we found out there was a spider on the wall. So I'm calling PG&E and I hear there's a spider at the, on the wall by the stove, which is, there's never, like, first of all, we don't get spiders a lot, but there's never been a spider or a bug there, ever. And now the thing that I was so crazy afraid of, where it turned out that there was gas in the wall, okay, has a spider on it, which is a thing that was giving me the fear. And I knew that in the moment, even though I couldn't say all that, but because I was on the phone getting PG&E out, but I was like, oh my goodness, another sign. So of course we left, right? Took the dog, left the building. And here's the other thing. When things are for you, they are for you. And when things are not for you, they are not for you. So this is the craziest thing. That night, no one else was in the building except for me. I was there, and I was protected. It's like I was in the watcher. You know how a lot of people have a watcher status, okay, where they're just watching for spirit, for the divine, whatever that is they're doing. I was in the right place at the right time, and if there was one night where I followed guidance exactly, it was that night, the night of the most potential, danger for not following guidance. It was just amazing. Okay. And so there were no other people in the building, unusual. And the person who also is with me was not in the building. And I was in the building to notice it, feel that something was wrong, not really sure, leave, because I had had the experience earlier. As soon as I had someone say, confirm that they thought that's what that was, bam, called PG&E, left the building. Isn't that amazing? Yay! I know, it's just like the best thing ever. And it was so funny because when the PG&E guy came and he was like, listen, it's not in your building. Like, the issue wasn't in my building. And eventually they found it, and it was just the craziest, stupid thing that someone did, which, again, for whatever reason. But the PG&E man looked at me and he said, listen, I got to turn off the gas to your unit because we got to be on the safe side. And I looked at him and I said, Uranus is at the moon. The moon is at Uranus tonight. We need to take the safe route. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And here's the other thing. My girlfriend taught me astrology, and I know she loves and cares about me. And that's the other thing, because intellectually, it did help to know, of course, without knowing the astrology, I would have still called, okay? But knowing the astrology gave me the deeper understanding of what could have transpired, because Uranus can be sudden, huge blessing or sudden, huge, event that appears negative or that is negative. And Uranus can be booms. Okay, I'm just going to say. So I woke up yesterday morning just feeling like, yay, I'm alive. Like, everything is great, and I'm alive. And God helped me so clearly. Divine guidance was it's like, boom, 1-to-1 there every moment, walking with me. Like the story of Jesus walking with you when you're at that moment that you need the most help. Isn't that incredible?